Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the convention here in Cincinnati. We are just a few minutes before the start of the members meeting. I'm Matt Reichert.
I'm Amanda Bruce.
And I'm Zach Stahowski.
And we are excited to have you join us again here for the Wednesday morning members meeting. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of hype, a lot of expectation being built for what we're going to learn about the future of this organization and some of the plans that Steve has that he'll be rolling out over these next few months, and we're excited to learn about it.
I know, it's exciting. I think I can speak for all of us that we have been working on a lot of good progress with Steve and a lot of just really great things for the organization, but we haven't been able to talk about it too much. So today's a very exciting day for us. We're so excited to share it with you because you were able to live stream, and so we're just so excited to be sharing this day with you.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to bring it to everyone, NPM members who are here, NPM members who are not, NPM members who were maybe up too late partying at the zoo last night. So yeah, we're very excited for what's about to come at this meeting today.
Absolutely. A little update what's happening right now. We've just finished morning prayer, and now there's the time when everyone needs to go get coffee. So we might start a few minutes later than originally planned. But we can catch you up what's been happening this week. Last night was the party at the zoo, which I hear was an incredible event. You can see lots of video recordings of all the music making and things that happened there.
I heard there was a hippo sighting once or twice.
Absolutely. The first time at an NPM that there was a hippo sighting. I think it serves to underscore too. I think for the planning committee, especially here in Cincinnati, the effort that's being made to have high quality, breakout sessions and learning sessions, but also something for families, especially to make it possible if you're coming here for a week and you want to bring your children or you want to bring a spouse, that there's plenty of good activity and opportunity for people to interact, people of all ages.
Yeah.
I think that's what we can look forward to in Baltimore too. Like if you're thinking about, coming to the convention, but you're wondering what am I going to do with my kids for a week? Baltimore, of course, has the National Aquarium. It's where I'm from, so I know that there's a lot of fun things to do. The nation's capital is not that far away, and just plenty of museums, the Inner Harbor, fun activities to do for everyone in Baltimore.
Yeah, I like the location of Baltimore for that reason. It's really going to be great to bring your family. If you want to look on social media, you can get back into speed about the zoo last night. I heard that John and Gotti did a mean Billy Joel, so that would be fun to find on social media, so it was good.
I believe you can also find video of Bobby Fischer and Jaime Cortez doing Hotel California.
Aw, the things you get at an NPM convention. The stuff you get at an NPM convention is really
I don't know the liturgical use of Hotel California, but there's a lot to learn at these things.
Yeah, I think that would be a good breakout session for next year. We'll put that in the feedback comments.
I agree. Later today, just to preview what we have coming ahead for our live stream schedule, at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, live from the exhibit hall, Zach and I will be talking about some professional development resources for shaping your own particular liturgical chops or helping those in your music ministry program grow professionally. At 2:30 p.m. From the exhibit hall, we'll be joined by Father Paul Turner, who will talk about the new marriage rite and some of the work that he's doing there, which is really exciting. I'm excited to hear what he has to say about that.
Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday at the end of our last plenum. I really think out of all the things you could tune into or watch the recording for, Father Paul Turner talking about the rite of marriage is so important because every church has weddings. And literally all of the churches in the U.S. have to follow these. And from my own personal experience, the more education, the better when it comes to things like this. So I'm really looking forward to that breakout in particular. And that would be good also to send to your priests if you're a pastoral musician. It would be great to send to your priests or wedding coordinators if you have someone helping you with weddings. That to me is a huge value. So tune in for that at 2:30 or watch the replay on our live stream channel.
Absolutely, I agree. One of the other things to keep in mind too is that, as Amanda said, you're watching us live now through YouTube. You can take a look and see all of the archived videos that we've brought to you live throughout this week. A huge response of people who have been watching these videos. So far, yesterday morning's plenum, for example, has been viewed well over 400 times, which is wonderful. Not only, again, validating this particular service, but increasing the number of people who have that common learning experience and can have that common conversation, which we're really excited about. So be sure to check those out.
And also, on that same token, I was going through our live stream videos last night, and I was going through just some social media to see what's been going on, and I noticed that I actually saw a recurring question over and over, which is so important to our organization, which was, what is NPM? And it was so nice to see people asking that, because obviously that means we're doing our job. That means that this live stream service and all of the social media that we're doing is making people more aware of what the National Association of Pastoral Musicians really is about. And I would imagine that today Steve's going to talk a little bit about membership as well in this meeting. So it's just I'm so glad to see that question was being raised. So it's good.
I'd like to also mention that the publishers are also doing some live streaming of their own that you can follow along if you just can't get enough and you want to continue to see more. I know that WLP live streamed their big showcase yesterday. GIA at 1:30 today will be live streaming their showcase. I believe you can go to the GIA.com website. And I believe OCP, of course, will be live streaming their plenum showcase tomorrow as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. And a reminder, too, for those of you from home, that either through the NPM website or through the App Store and the NPM app, you can access the program booklet for the week. So especially if you've been, if you watched the opening liturgy this past Monday, if you want to look at, follow along at our convention Eucharist on Thursday evening, or you want to see what's happening at the morning prayers, anything else, you can download and access that full convention booklet to see what's been happening, what we've been singing, what we've been learning about throughout the week.
Yeah. Now, since we do have a little bit of time to kill right now, because we are running a few minutes late because we got to get our coffee and donut fix this morning, I would love to see actually in the comments portion of the live stream, for those of you who are watching, where you're from. So here, of course, if you've ever been to an NPM convention, you know that we have the roll call at the beginning, and we say, those from the states of the West, please stand. Well, we would love to recognize you. So in the comments portion of this this live broadcast, please let us know where you're from, what city, what state. If you'd like any type of shout out, we'd love to give it to you, because we know that it's not just us that's here. We really love to see what parts of the country or abroad are being recognized here today.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Amanda. One of the things that I appreciated about the opening of the convention and that roll call, and it occurs to me that though we brought it to you live, you couldn't see the audience, right? Or you couldn't see those of us gathered here. And since today is the members' meeting and all about membership, I think it's important to circle back and tell people that, when we were highlighting different regions of the country, the representation that's here is remarkable. In particular, the number of people for whom this was their first convention.
Yeah.
I was surprised
That was
at.
wonderful.
That was amazing.
An incredible number of people in this room that's been packed all week. And the number of people under 30. Unfortunately, I myself was not able in good conscience to stand during that
It's been
portion.
a couple years for you.
I think plus or minus a few years, and maybe I was within the margin of error.
I stood.
But the number of people who again, first time here, 30 and under. I mean, it's incredibly hopeful. It's an amazing thing to see. Again, that representation from across the country. I think, Steve, if memory serves me right, 44 of the 50 states represented, which is wonderful. And that's exciting to me, especially because of what we're about to hear. Like Amanda said, people asking, what is NPM? And I think people ask that question even if you're familiar or perhaps a member of NPM. What is NPM? Who are we? What are we doing? What do we stand for? Where are we going? And I think, as soon as we top off our coffee here and Steve takes the stage, we're going to start to answer that question.
Yep. Now, I should mention, too, of course, this members meeting is not just about the announcements that we're a little bit privy to. There are other things that are happening today in this live stream, so we can kind of give you a quick preview of that. So, of course, one of the things that NPM really does pride itself on is giving scholarships to people who are in college, continuing education, who are in the pastoral music field. I will say that I was one of the recipients of scholarships. Were you guys? Did you ever guys win a scholarship?
No, didn't apply.
Well, see, my mother always taught me to apply for scholarships. So I was able to win the Stephen Warner Notre Dame Folk Choir Award one year, and then the NPM overall scholarship. So I know from experience that that's so important to students, to giving them the opportunity to financially afford going to a university to study at least music. And I believe, if I remember correctly, one of the agreements of applying and winning an NPM scholarship is that you stay in pastoral music in some form for 2 years afterwards. So we're going to be announcing those scholarships today, and that to me is always so great, because I'd love to see people up and coming, young people who get recognized for their work and have that financial support from NPM. So we're going to see that today. What are some of the other awards we're going to see today?
Well, certainly, the member awards highlighting individuals in ministry, NPM chapters and things, and I'm excited to see that, because I think it's so important that that the membership body itself recognize the good work that's being done. Certainly in these fine individuals and fine chapters to hold up what they're doing, but also as a representation of all the work that's being done by so many members and so many chapters all over the country.
Yeah,
which
that's
is exciting.
exciting. Yeah, so we'll be able to see the NPM Chapter of the Year, the Jubilate Deo Award, some of the other really big ones. So that's exciting too. I always love seeing that. And in previous years, the award ceremonies and the scholarships were given at a private breakfast, if you
Sure.
remember, in previous years. So it's really exciting to see that we'll be able to share those awards and scholarships with you, the public, and actually the entire body that's here today. So it's exciting.
And now a shameless plug, because our co-anchor here, Zach, has a song in the GIA Showcase today, and he hasn't mentioned it, so I will.
Aw.
That's very kind of you.
So you have to talk about it.
Yeah, so join us at 1:30, the GIA Showcase. I do have a song in it, which is always a tremendous honor when you have music recognized in the Plenum Showcase. It is a song called When You Come. It is an Advent song. It is a song that speaks to recognizing how Jesus comes to us in a variety of ways constantly throughout the year, in the poor, in the lost, in the immigrant, in the refugee, in the prisoner, and which is, I think, a message that we need to continue to sing, continue to say in the seasons of Advent, throughout all of ordinary time, throughout the entire church year, because Christ is constantly coming to us. It's not just a Christmas time thing, an Advent time thing, and so I'm really excited for this song to get shared with the NPM community today.
That's great. Can you give us any teasers, any instrumentation, anything like that?
Can you
It
sing a
is-
little of it for us, Zach?
We'll wait for the showcase, but it's scored generally for piano and guitar, cello and oboe, full choir with assembly responses. So I
Nice.
think it's really user friendly for assemblies to sing.
And we
for a
are
variety
only
of
4.5 months away from Advent. So
Yeah.
it's never
Oh.
too early to start planning
I
for
know,
Advent.
and I feel like a broken record when I say this, but I feel like you, as the NPM and the viewers, and you guys understand this. Can you believe Christmas Eve's on a Sunday this year?
Oh, that's the worst. That's the
Oh.
perfect
It's the
storm.
worst. I know it is the perfect storm. Now, the last question on that is, Zach, if I buy myself a copy of your song, will you autograph it?
Of course.
Okay,
I mean,
thanks.
yeah.
Thanks.
If you include a self-addressed stamped envelope, Zach will
Zach
mail you
will
back
mail you back a
his
signed
score.
copy.
with
As you can see,
signature.
after all this embarrassment, I'm getting ready to board my helicopter now. But no, really, I just am gonna start listening in to see when we're gonna be ready to start here.
Yep.
We are very close here to this members meeting, and again, we're really excited that you've been able to join us today as members from afar, which is
Yeah.
wonderful to have you here also in our meeting. So I know I pointed out your song in particular for the showcase. It's been amazing to me to see. I mean, every year people enjoy the showcases.
Oh,
There's the bell. Saved by the bell. Here we go. We're pleased to bring you the members meeting. We'll see you in a bit.
I'm Steve Petronak, and I'm a member of NPM. Since taking on the role of the fourth president and CEO of the National Association of Pastoral Musicians just 2 months ago, I have been an excited member of NPM, an anxious member of NPM, a slightly overwhelmed member of NPM, and a truly inspired member of NPM. Standing before you today, what I am is a hopeful member of NPM. It's almost impossible not to be hopeful in this setting, immersed in the music of our calling and surrounded by others who get us and who share our intense passion for foot pedal technique or movable chord forms or new hymn settings or the shape of our vowels. It's hard not to be hopeful when you are singing four-part harmony in an assembly of more than 1,000. Not your usual Sunday experience? The hopefulness I feel goes well beyond that. It's the hopefulness of a new day, a new energy. It's the hopefulness of a transformation needed and a transformation underway in our very organization. I can imagine that the same swirl of emotions may have embodied NPM's founder, Father Virgil Funk, 41 years ago. It was a time of incredible change in the church and in society. Vatican II had introduced sweeping liturgical reforms in its renewal of the church, including a liturgy in the language of the people. For many of us, it's mind-blowing to think that there was a time when people did not have an active role in the liturgy, when many did not have a clear understanding of what was being said or sung. This liturgical renewal created a great need for direction, formation, and new skills in the decades that followed. NPM was instrumental in meeting that need. Over 4 decades now, NPM has helped form more than a generation of musicians. These musicians, fueled by NPM, have shaped the experience of Catholic music in thousands of churches across America. In my own parish, where I joined the music ministry as a teenager and continued to help lead it for 43 years, I have passed the leadership on to a musician I first met when I played and sang at his baptism. Ours is a wonderful story and model of mission, of going out to spread the good news. And if we know anything about the mission we've been called to as Christians, it's this: it never ends. It never ends. Today, we are facing a time of incredible change in church and in society, different than the changes that we faced at the start of the association, but no less real. This morning, I want to share with you some of the challenges facing NPM, challenges that are not just mine as your new president, but challenges that are mine and yours as members of this association of pastoral musicians. I'll be joined by Board President Ann Ketzer, who will share a responsive 5-year strategic plan to address these deep challenges. And finally, we'll move beyond talk to action. Those who come to the convention, and I know for many it is a sacrifice to do so, but you are among the most impassioned members of NPM. Today, you'll be the first to hear and see and respond to the vision for a renewed NPM, an association that will provide significantly greater value to you and your parishes in ways that meet you where you live and pray. Let's get started. If you look at our membership year over year, you have to go back about 15 years to locate our high point. In the early 2000s, we reached a level of more than 9,000 members, nearly 10,000. Today, membership is almost half of that. The reasons are complex and related in part to issues of mistrust and disinterest we're seeing in our own communities, issues that have led to empty pews. In many parishes, that shrinkage means less revenue and more budget tightening, and in others, clusters, mergers, and closings. Within that environment, NPM has suffered in recent years from its own budget tightening and management issues. Today, our association is at a financial and emotional crossroads. Revenue from the annual convention and institutes have kept NPM afloat in recent years, but barely. And while our convention numbers are higher this year from last, Participation has been trending downward. That's not a sustainable model. More than that, I want to be a part of an organization that doesn't just survive, but thrives. How about you? The work of transformation envisioned by founder Father Virgil Funk is not finished, but the needs of those called to it have evolved. Technology and social media have also exploded the means of delivering skills and knowledge and professional connection in ways that NPM has not kept pace with. A new vision, a reaffirmed mission, and revitalized business model are needed to bind together a stronger, more focused association. Beginning now. In March of 2017, the NPM Board of Directors approved a new 5-year strategic plan for our association. I'd like to invite Ann Ketzer, the chair of the Board of Directors, to share with us a brief explanation of the new strategic plan. Please welcome Ann Ketzer.
Thank you. Good morning. It's my pleasure to address you this morning on behalf of the NPM Board of Directors. Since we last met in Houston, a lot has been happening with NPM, and I'm excited to be able to tell you about it. The state of this association last summer was a bit dicey. That's a good word, I like that word. There were serious financial concerns, a trending decrease in membership, and no clear plans for the future in place. We were clearly at a turning point, as Steve said. The board identified 4 priorities, 4 crucial, critical areas that were in need of immediate attention if we were to survive. These were leadership, membership, finances, and planning. Mechanisms to hire a full-time president CEO were put in place as soon as we knew that Monsignor Hillgartner would likely be stepping back. With the anticipation of hiring a new leader who would be full-time with us, the board, using the positive, strength-giving modality of appreciative inquiry, began to develop a comprehensive strategic plan. The intent of this process was to build upon existing organizational strengths to address the 4 critical areas. Propositions were then developed to describe where we want and need to go. They describe well the perfect world of our member association, that to which we aspire. In other words, they're dream statements, descriptive statements about the perfect NPM in terms of each priority. For example, the proposition describing NPM leadership states, NPM and its mission are led well by an elected board of directors and hired president CEO, and they are served by a competent staff. The president, CEO, and the governing board of directors have a collegial relationship and are in frequent communication as each serves the other for the common good of the association. Established leadership bodies within the membership are actively engaged in the mission and the work of the association and share our vision for the future. Now that's a mission statement for where we are going. The immediate response to this particular proposition on leadership was the hiring of Steve Petronak. I need to take a minute or two to cite the strengths that Steve brings to NPM and reasons why the board of directors hired him. This is in response to some queries from members who do not know Steve well and have asked me and other board members, what does Steve bring to the table? So for a minute, Steve Petronak is well known to NPM as a longtime member, a former NPM board member, an accomplished and talented composer of sacred music, as well as a seasoned pastoral musician at St. Blaise Parish in Sterling Heights, Michigan, where he developed a comprehensive and multifaceted music ministry program. Prior to his role as music director at St. Blaise, Steve was a manager in a large business in the Detroit area. So he brings to NPM an expertise in both pastoral music and business, as well as solid leadership and management skills. Most importantly, Steve has a great passion for the success and growth of NPM and its mission. He cares deeply, and he has the skills necessary to take us well into the future. The board of directors was firm and unanimous in the decision to hire Steve. It was a huge first step in addressing the leadership priority. The other priorities, membership, finance, and planning, have propositions that are similar in that they describe the most perfect situation that can exist in terms of this members association and the specific priority they describe. From these propositions, strategic goal statements were developed to begin our journey toward being the best we can be. The goals are largely business-oriented, focus on very specific actions and results. They are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timed. If you study business, you know they're called SMART goals. The strategic plan was adopted in March of this year, and already there has been great progress in each of the 4 critical areas. This is largely due to the hard work of the board of directors, the assistance of the NPM Council last summer, the new president CEO, the NPM staff, and the outgoing president and CEO, who remains in an advisory role with this board. Now that you most likely have finished your donuts, you might want to start taking notes so that you can tell your colleagues, friends, and music ministers back home what is happening in NPM. Prepare to be amazed with what you will hear now from Steve Petronak, NPM's new president and CEO. He will make you proud to be a member of this growing association. He has much to say about the state of NPM, and as you can already tell, his enthusiasm is rather contagious. It is my pleasure to turn this meeting back to Steve Petronak.
So an association is a network of members, a people organized for a common purpose. Our common purpose is not making great music. It's changing lives. It's singing faith into being and justice into action through the art of sung prayer. To borrow the words of the Constitution on the sacred liturgy, to be whole, we need the full, active, and conscious participation of every NPM member. The 4 propositions of the NPM strategic plan, of which Ann just spoke, are the foundation from which the association will move forward: leadership, planning, membership, and finance. Strengthening each of these is critical to strengthening the health and the longevity of NPM. Our first priority, leadership. The NPM leadership structure is spelled out in the Constitution and bylaws, and it calls for the participation and action of many. The leadership of the association begins with the NPM Board of Directors. If you are a member of the Board of Directors of NPM, would you please stand so that we can recognize and thank you? NPM's structure also includes the NPM Council, made up of 8 at-large representatives, 6 national committee chairs, and 18 interest section chairs, and 4 ex officio representatives. If you are a council member, please stand and be recognized. The structure also includes 70 NPM chapters across the country. These are the presence of NPM in our deaneries and dioceses and parishes. If you are a leader of an NPM chapter, would you please stand? Yeah. NPM also has an amazingly committed staff. If you are a member of the NPM staff, would you please stand so that we can thank you? All of these groups within NPM are comprised of numerous volunteers who are deeply committed to the cause of NPM. Recent renewed effort has invigorated the national committees, and Mary Lynn Pleskowski has begun working with intersections as a liaison, a volunteer position designed to offer assistance to intersection leaders. So what is needed to strengthen leadership for the future of NPM? The board of directors is beginning to analyze the existing NPM leadership structure. Do we believe that the NPM membership is best served by the leadership structure defined within the NPM Constitution and bylaws some 41 years ago? Or is there a better structure? Beyond structure, we need to look at how to perpetuate leadership in the association. It thrills me to tell you that there is an exciting emergence of new young leaders within NPM. Amanda Bruce from the Pittsburgh Diocese has taken on the leadership of a new website initiative and work on Facebook. And you'll hear later about two other young leaders, Matt Reichert and Zach Stahowski. These young members are providing effective leadership to help NPM move forward using technology and social media. There are also changes in our staff that I'd like to share. I'm not sure yet if you've heard this, but we have hired a new president. Two long-standing employees are facing retirement. Both have served NPM for many years. The first is our advertising manager, Karen Heinch, out of Portland, Oregon. Karen worked for more than 30 years, most of it very closely with longtime NPM leader Nancy Bannister in Portland, and has carried out her duties remotely with great dedication. The second is Dr. Gordon Truitt, NPM senior editor for more than 29 years. Gordon is moving to part-time status and will continue as the editor of NPM's Pastoral Music magazine. Please join me in thanking Karen and Gordon. We are happy to introduce our new editor of our remaining print and digital publications, Dr. Jill Nenman. Jill will handle these editorial and advertising responsibilities from her home in the Minneapolis area, taking on all other publications and advertising responsibilities. Welcome, Jill. Let's move on to our second priority, planning. Good planning is the basis for successful execution. This is an area where we have great opportunity. The NPM Board of Directors has already put concerted effort and support behind this in the creation of the 5-year strategic plan. It's a strong plan and a reflection of the seriousness and professionalism of our board. One of the greatest areas of operation we're planning is making a huge difference is in our national conventions. We've begun greater collaboration with our industry partners and also considered the data and feedback from past conventions. Let me share just a few examples of how this is playing out. Our 2018 convention will be in Baltimore, July 9th through the 13th. We'll be testing a new concept with mega breakout workshops. These will be slightly longer major workshops with about 6 frustrating choices per breakout. Frustrating because you'll want to go to all of them. We are also bringing together some new voices, including best-selling author, Father James Martin. Yeah. For 2019, initial plans to locate that convention in Orlando have changed due to insurmountable programming challenges and cost concerns. We are just a few weeks away from securing another location, and we'll keep you posted when we have a final decision. We're also looking to pilot a new model for 2019 or perhaps 2020, perhaps focused more exclusively around skills building. Think of it as a kind of a remix of the institutes and the convention together, dedicated study paired with large group events. Going forward, Berta Sabrio, co-chair of the 2018 Baltimore Convention, and Cincinnati co-chair Karen Kane will be working on more disciplined and consistent convention planning that provides continuity from year to year. One final word about gatherings. The DMMD has just finalized plans for their 2018 colloquium, which will take place in none other than Las Vegas. The event will feature the highly respected educator, Paul Ford. A second area of planning I'd like to touch on are the education and certification opportunities here at NPM. This is an area that has remained important to our members' growth over the years. As a collective body, the members of NPM must strive for greater competencies in musicianship, spirituality, liturgical and pastoral development, and ministry, and NPM can help. I would encourage all of you to consider the different areas of certification offered by NPM, as well as the Alliance for the Certification of Lay Ecclesial Ministers Director of Music Ministries certification, which Patricia Campbell just completed and will be receiving her certificate for later this morning. These are opportunities for higher levels of proficiency and education that NPM strongly supports. More information can be found on the NPM website. A third targeted area of planning and development has to do with NPM's digital presence and the general awareness of NPM. Both of these tie closely to our focus on membership. It'll speak to our digital presence. I'll speak about the digital presence here in just a moment. In terms of awareness, the board is engaging in discussion around NPM identity, brand, and related marketing opportunities. This effort is really around getting at the core of who are we, who we strive to be, and how prospective members perceive NPM. The board has created an ad hoc committee and has invited member and marketing professional Kathy Phelong to lead us in the process. Our third priority, membership. I mentioned earlier that our membership has been shrinking in recent years. Let's look at the numbers. In 2002, we were nearly 9,000 members strong. By 2008, nearly 8,000. 2012, nearly 7. 2015, 5,700. 2017 year to date, it says 5,100. The more accurate number is 5,147. Not that I'm aware of that. In 15 years, NPM has lost 43% of its membership. Further, if we consider parish membership versus the total number of churches in the United States, NPM exists in less than 30% of all Roman Catholic churches. We have an incredible opportunity here to become a truly national association. Beyond the church representation, look around the room. Predominantly, what ages and cultures are represented? NPM must figure out how to best reach our younger pastoral musicians and figure out how to minister to and learn from our pastoral musicians of all cultures if we want to reflect our name, the National Association of Pastoral Musicians. So why are we not attracting new members or even keeping the ones we have? Some of the reasons are what I mentioned earlier. But we can also look within our own practices for insight. Think for a moment. What does your NPM membership offer you? This awesome convention experience, although it is possible to attend without being a member. 5 masterfully written magazines, but yet without an option to receive a digital version. Other publications like Sunday Word, Notebook, Liturgical Singer if you subscribe to it, and Praxis if you're a member of DMMD. And a few emails from time to time from the national office. I ask you, are pastoral musicians of various cultures enticed by these offerings? How about rural area musicians? What about inner city music ministers? And what about those younger than, say, 40? Now consider technology and social media for a moment. I have in my notes, I'll spare you the statistics, but this one statistic I'm going to share. In the week ending June 2nd, last month, we had 87 hits on our Facebook page all week long. My daughter gets 87 hits on her Facebook page in less than an hour. Suffice it to say that NPM to date has an extremely limited social media outreach, and our website is littered with outdated information. I'm sure many of you know this, some by more than 10 years, and it is not interactive. Now, think about how NPM communicates to members. Our only form of interactive communication is either email or telephone. And while I'm a big fan of both, we must develop better ways of communicating, using social media effectively, and ultimately attracting members and non-members to come to us. So, to sum it all up, here's the whole picture. Our membership is in decline. What we offer our members is minimal or insignificant. Our social media is non-existent. Our website is outdated, and we don't communicate well with our membership. How did we ever get you all here? I mentioned at the start of my remarks that I am a hopeful NPM member. I want to share a glimpse of what that hope looks like. Give me just a second. This is the new NPM website. Notice just a few things. How clean it looks. Look at the buttons up above. Social media. Look at the pages as they flip by. It says members, premium content available to NPM members only. Uh-oh, what's that? We'll get there. Let's scroll down just a minute, if I can get to this. See the little button there that says Ask the President with a dorky picture of that guy? You can now click there. Send me an email direct. You have contact to me. So if there's something that you think the president needs to know, you have access to me. Now, I could spend time here and just get lost in this with you. I'm not going to. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that. We'll get there in a second. This is a long overdue do-over. We'll be revealing a demo of this site tomorrow at the Pastoral Musicians Lunch. But I can tell you, this is a game changer for NPM. Here's why. NPM has a new vision for an amazing, and listen to my word here, massive digital programming initiative that is well underway. Many of you have heard the new digital program called Open Your Hymnal. I'm sure you have. Those of you who have heard the podcast of Father Mike Jonkus talking about On Eagle's Wings. Anybody? Yeah? Yep. And along with that, we've heard from Marty Haugen, Lori True. I think David Haas just came out this week or will be coming out any day now with a version. The creators of Open Your Hymnal, Matt Reichert and Zach Stachowski, I just mentioned their names a few minutes ago, have teamed up with NPM for some amazing work together. Open Your Hymnal started as Matt and Zach's idea, but the program was a perfect fit with NPM's plans for expanded digital programming. While Open Your Hymnal will still maintain its own identity, you can now access the Open Your Hymnal podcasts right here on our website. And while here at NPM this week, they will be capturing other interviews with many different composers. I will never forget the phone call that happened between the three of us the day that Matt and Zach called me and asked me, is this an idea that NPM would be interested in? And then I shared with them what this whole vision of digital programming was to look like. And they went, oh, wow, oh, hold on. Okay, they took it back. They have embraced this wholeheartedly. You're gonna see, you're gonna love this. Along with Open Your Hymnal, there are two other new digital programs that are offered on the website to anyone who visits the website. These are called Ministry Monday and From the Convention. These programs will continue to attract members and non-members to NPM. On the new website, there is also exclusive digital programming. One of the key draws to exclusive content like this is that it will be only available to members. If you are a member of NPM with a member ID and have shared with NPM an active email address, you can create your own password and navigate within a whole new section of NPM's website, a password protected part. What's here? Let me demonstrate. NPM is now offering video presentations and podcasts under the following headings. Digital Conservatory. These are 20 to 30 minute instructional videos or podcasts on topics related to music arranging, conducting, guitar, keyboard, cantering, and more. And we already have 5 videos available and many, many more underway. NPM Academy. These are 45 to 60 minute video or podcast series on topics such as scripture, liturgy, spirituality, theology, leadership, and more. And we already have our first one up and running with Father Mike Jonkis presenting on the scriptural basis of the Eucharist. NPM's digital programming is high quality. We are seeking out the very best presenters that provide the content that our members are looking for. We're also collaborating with industry partners like St. John's School of Theology and Seminary and liturgical training publications and others. We'll also be promoting the site through increased social media outreach. When does this website go live? 10 o'clock this morning. For the next 3 weeks, until 12:01 a.m. on Thursday, August 3rd, we will allow you to visit the new website via the email address. You don't have to write this down because we're going to put it up at the end of the day. Not end of the day, end of the presentation. npm.org/new. At the very end, I'll show you a password up here that will allow you free access to the entire new website, including the exclusive member content. So if you're a member or a non-member, you'll be able to get to it. But after that 3-week time period, npm.org/new will disappear, and npm.org will become this new website. You'll then use your own member ID and create a password. Not an NPM member yet? This might be the time to become one. We're giving you this access because we know the best way to attract new members is through word of mouth. You are the evangelists who will take this information forward to your communities, your deaneries, and your dioceses. The website also contains information and links to allow you to take advantage of your membership by becoming involved in an NPM interest section or in your local chapter, or by starting a chapter in your area. NPM needs every member involved in sharing their time and talents. It's the only way we can grow. Our last priority is finance. Let me speak honestly about NPM's financial picture. The first week that I arrived at NPM, our CPA firm arranged for an independent third-party financial audit. It had been several years since NPM's last audit, and I wanted to know I was starting with a clean slate financially. The final results of the audit are still pending, but I've been told that there's nothing glaring, nothing has been uncovered, and that's great news. Yeah. Here are the reported revenue, expenses, and profit for NPM the last 2 years. If you look at 2015, we have statistics for these different parts of our financials, total revenue, total expenses, and in 2015 we had a modest $15,000 profit. Look at 2016. Costs were just a little bit higher. Expenses, higher. Bottom line, loss of $30,000. For this year, 2017, we've had a good start with higher than budgeted convention registrations. We have over 1,400 paid here at this convention. That's a really good number. And we have the best Guitar and Ensemble Institute registrations, which happens next week, that we have ever had. We have 103 participants at our Guitar and Ensemble Institute next week. So NPM is beginning to recover from the 2016 loss. If you look over the past 15 plus years of NPM's financial history, except for 1 or 2 years, NPM has operated at or near break even. Hovering at break even is not a good way to run a business. Just one unexpected large expense can shut the business down. There are 2 ways that a business can increase profit. Number 1, create more revenue, Or number 2, cut operating expenses. Just in this short amount of time with putting our heads together, the short amount of time that I've been here, we have already examined all of our operating expenses and have reduced the 2017 operating budget by more than $30,000. Without cutting actual positions, we are about as lean as we can get. That means we must focus on creating more revenue. Some would call this situation NPM faces a financial crisis. I disagree. Because there is a bigger picture here that has never been discussed until now. NPM has struggled over the years to create a realistic and successful development plan that would build the financial base from which to serve its mission. Developing NPM is my #1 goal, and with the help of the Finance and Development Committee, that effort is already well underway. Fostering the Art, a brand new annual convention event that we held this year, first time Monday evening, that celebrates NPM, was a huge success this first year. If you missed it this year, you won't want to miss it in Baltimore. It was a blast. I'm also looking to elicit the support of large donors, an effort that began actually last year. Through approaching 8 potential large donors this past fall, we raised nearly $30,000. We've increased our efforts for sponsorship at this convention, and a whole new annual fund initiative will be revealed this year from our Finance and Development Committee. That's 4 new development initiatives already underway. So here's the truth about nonprofit associations. Most every successful nonprofit organization is sustained by a group of donors. These are people who have bought into the mission of the organization and gladly support it with their financial resources. For a membership-based association, such as NPM, where a percentage of the revenue is generated through membership dues, support by the members is just as critical as uncovering those large donors. Why? Because the association supports the members. The members are the association. You are NPM. Recently, another nonprofit membership-based church music organization raised over $1 million in a capital campaign that revitalized their association. Who raised the money? The members. As we all know, giving can happen in 3 different ways: time, talent, and treasure. NPM needs its members involved in all 3 areas. I've already spoken a bit about the sharing of our time and talent. Now let's consider our treasure. Here's the support membership has given the NPM Annual Fund the last 2 years. In 2015, we had 321 donors, almost $47,000. And in 2016, 327 donors, almost $85,000. If you made a donation last year, thank you. For you helped 2016 greatly outperform 2015, and that's terrific news. Collections were up almost 80%, and number of donors up 16%. Success achieved? Well, yeah, on some level. Notice that even though our donations were up 80%, we still lost $30,000, not $80,000. I'm sorry, $30,000. Because last year's convention and institute costs were higher than expected, combined with a lower number of anticipated attendees, the increased donations kept NPM going. This is evidence that NPM cannot exist without the support of its members. But now look at the total number of donors. In an association of more than 5,000 members, we had 373 donors. That means that 7.3% of our membership donated to the annual fund last year. These numbers are staggeringly low. What's behind this? First of all, I believe that NPM has not communicated well this need for the giving by its members. In addition, some of our members truly cannot afford to give to the NPM annual fund, and we know that. Finally, many of us may not trust some of the decisions made at NPM or where the money at NPM is being used. NPM needs the trust of its members. I need to earn your trust. Hopefully, this transparency today is a good first step in achieving that. But building trust takes time. Look, it all comes down to this. NPM belongs to you. It's not mine, or the staff's, or the board's. It's your association. We know that people put their money towards what's important to them. NPM members must become more active givers. We have to be good stewards of our time, talent, and treasure in order to build the association, not as an end in itself, but as a means to build the church through pastoral music. What does that kind of stewardship look like, and what impact does it have? I came across an answer recently at a parish I was visiting on the shores of Lake Erie in Pennsylvania. The parish was celebrating the life and ministry of a man named Mark Kulik. Mark was one of the 3 co-directors at Holy Cross Parish who led a large, thriving, successful program asking for no compensation. Mark shared his musical and leadership gifts freely because he understood the power of music at liturgy because of his love of the liturgy and his love of his community. Mark was one of those guys who just gets things done. He and his wife, Joyce, had substantial roles in Worldwide Marriage Encounter for many years. Mark was also the president of a family business and ran the Notre Dame Alumni Marching Band when he wasn't in the midst of the tenor section at Holy Cross. Mark became ill with a serious brain tumor in 2014. And after a heroic battle, he passed away just after Thanksgiving last November with Joyce by his side.
You cannot possibly describe in words what music ministry has meant to me and what it has done for my faith.
The value of music to liturgy to him was huge.
It's fun to just learn new songs and be with friends.
It's really about bringing everyone together in song and making sure that everyone feels welcome and that they get the most that they can out of Mass every time.
Mark was a guy who was so giving. He would always help out someone with a part.
He had a great sense of compassion, kindness, gentleness.
He helped me in many different ways beyond just music. He was always personable. He was welcoming everyone to practice all the time, making Holy Cross a really fun and engaging place to be.
He was always carrying a song in his head.
Shortly before he passed away, he was bedridden because of the the brain cancer. So the choir, we went over to his house a few times and would sing for Mark.
The look on his face and the change that came over him, even for a few minutes, was directly from God.
I'm really excited about what's happening in NPM. To take what is the essence of NPM, fostering the art of musical liturgy, fostering the art of sung prayer, and making it more relevant today.
And I remember the opening prayer service of the convention, and to hear that many people who were enthusiastically singing just kind of melted me, and I just knew that there's something really valuable and powerful that was going on at that moment.
NPM is important to me because it's always been present here at Holy Cross. We have new music constantly.
After CCD, we come down to the church and practice songs, and we learn moves.
The music that we sing here and the music that I've been introduced to and the music that I've learned goes directly to my soul.
I went to every NPM convention, I went to institutes, choir director institutes, back to the guitar institute, liturgy institutes, cantor. I just really immersed myself in the discipline. And I felt, and I still feel, that that's part of the calling of the music minister, to do that in whatever way you can.
One of the major reasons they come here to worship is because of the wonderful music they've come to expect and enjoy.
Music is healing, music is sustaining, music is comfort.
If it were not for NPM, I would not be here. I would not be here in terms of doing music.
We wouldn't be able to do what we do every week without the help of everybody at NPM.
It's fun to learn the song and learn moves and then just sing it.
Mark was that guy that would always take the 8 a.m. Easter morning mass when nobody else wanted to do it.
There was always more to learn, and more to grow, and more to sing, and more songs to learn. And maybe that's the message to NPM. There is always more. And it can always be a little bit better. And to not stop.
Before moving on, I want to acknowledge Mark's wife, Joyce, is with us today. When I heard Mark's story, it greatly moved me. I've asked Joyce's permission to build something new for NPM, honoring Mark's passion for music ministry. After much consultation with Joyce and our Finance and Development Committee, I have created the Mark C. Kulik Fund for Music Ministry for NPM. Many of us know a Mark Kulik, don't we? The tireless supporters of our ministry who get things done and leave a legacy that contributes to our ministries and our communities in body and spirit. The Mark C. Kulik Fund is designed to raise money in Mark's memory and in honor of those like Mark to help NPM afford the special projects we so desperately need to take on right now and into the future. The first project is to offset the huge cost of our slate of technology initiatives that will provide greater value to NPM and be a springboard for membership. I've set the initial amount of $250,000 as the initial target for the Kulik Fund. Through Joyce's support and that of her friends and family, we have already begun to approach prospective donors. To date, we've contacted more than 100 people, with another list coming of friends and family and people at Holy Cross to contact about the fund. And donations are starting to come in, and I have to tell you, we are already above $20,000 in pledges and money collected. That's right. And I may add, just in the last 3 weeks. And now it's our turn. I want to ask if every one of us, while we are here at the convention, those of us who are so committed and passionate about NPM and are able to consider being the founding donors to the Mark C. Kulik Fund. Here's the truth. Our membership is currently around 5,000 members, right? So a $50 donation from each member, $50, would allow us to hit our target instantly. That's what you might take in for half a funeral stipend, perhaps, or what you might pay in a couple weeks of Starbucks visits. We can make a difference when we all pull together. The Mark C. Kulik Fund can help establish the critical financial base from which NPM can more fully serve our mission. So this is a time of transformation for our church and association, as it was when NPM began. It's a time for us to be committed, to be bold, to be nothing less than disciples. Pope Francis, in his incredible teaching on the joy of the gospel, Evangelii Gaudium, wrote that being a disciple means being constantly ready to bring the love of Jesus to others. And this can happen unexpectedly, he said, and in any place, on the street, in a city square, during work, on a journey. And it can happen, I would suggest, through the art of sung prayer. Let's be ready for the unexpected. I'm Steve Petronek, and I'm a hopeful member of NPM. All right, we've got a little bit more to do yet, and we're going to try to give this time the greatest respect we can in the most efficient way that we can. I'd like to invite Ann Ketzer from the Board of Directors up to the podium for a moment.
In 2013 and 2014, the NPM Board of Directors was aggressively seeking to hire a new president CEO. The financial picture at that time only allowed for a part-time hire. Nevertheless, our sights were set very high, and we were extremely fortunate to catch Monsignor Rick Hilgartner at a rather vulnerable moment. Monsignor Hilgartner signed a contract with us in September of 2014 and served as our president CEO for almost 3 years until his parish and diocesan duties caused him to step back. Monsignor Hilgartner has agreed to help us through this transition time, and he remains with us on the board in an advisory position.